Prime Minister Narendra Modi has embarked on his first visit to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia at the invitation of the kingdom's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. This will mark the first visit by an Indian leader to Saudi Arabia's hub, Jeddah, in over 4 decades, and 6 agreements are expected to be signed covering areas including space, energy, health and advanced technology. This visit aims to strengthen India-Saudi strategic partnership and further the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor project. Well, before departing, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that he was eager to meet the Indian diaspora in Saudi Arabia. On that note, let's give you an understanding on the Indian community in Saudi. Where do they reside and how much more? And I'll give you an understanding exactly of the Indians in Saudi Arabia, in details regarding how many exactly in Saudi Arabia, how many Indians are over there. And this comes amid, we've seen that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has departed for Saudi Arabia and he's set to visit Jeddah. This comes after 4 decades an Indian leader has visited Saudi Arabia in Jeddah. So first of all, Indians in Saudi Arabia, 2.7 million Indians reside in Saudi Arabia. They account for up to 13% of the country's population. So 2.7 million Indians in Saudi Arabia. And primary occupation of the Indians in Saudi Arabia is as blue-collar workers or laborers, and representing over 70% of the Indian workforce. So that's a major population in Saudi Arabia of Indians, and a smaller portion, around 20 to 30% of Indians, are working as doctors, engineers and accountants in Saudi Arabia. So the major workforce is obviously blue collared, and very small percentage, 20 to 30, are doctors, engineers and other occupations. And average income of the Indians working in Saudi Arabia stands at 16,700 Saudi riyals per month, which is amounting to rupees 2.16. And majority of Indian workers in Saudi Arabia are concentrated in cities of Riyadh, Jeddah and Tehran. So those are the 3 places that they are most concentrated. There are a total of 37 Indian schools that are registered in Saudi Arabia. So 37 Indian, that's a major number of schools for Indians, and over 3,000 Indian companies are operating in the kingdom with an investment reaching approximately $3 billion. That's why we are getting to know 3,000 Indian companies. That's what we're seeing. And the companies are active in sectors like management and consultancy services and financial services and construction and telecom. So those are the details pertaining to the sectors that when we're talking about that. In January 2025, there are 1,135 Indian restaurants in Saudi Arabia, which is 10.55% increase from 2023. So obviously these are the details that are coming in pertaining to the Indians in Saudi Arabia. Obviously, this comes when we're talking about all of this, a very important, crucial visit of Prime Minister Modi to Saudi Arabia. He departed from New Delhi. He went to Saudi Arabia, and he is set to arrive in Jeddah. And this comes after 4 decades, and any Indian leader has visited Jeddah, which is a commercial hub of Saudi Arabia. We have with us Ambassador Manju Seth, former diplomat, joining us on the telecast. We also have with us Sanjeev Srivastava, international affairs expert. But first of all, I'd like to go to Ambassador Manju Seth. Thank you so much for joining us on the telecast. So the conversation around this, when we're talking about Prime Minister Modi visiting Saudi Arabia, the main focus is obviously